The basic presumption is that all four styles need to be working in harmony, which if you're trying to get out of early struggle is actually not true. And it's one of the things that keeps us trapped there. So let's unpack this. Let's talk about what the four styles are and the common misconception or deviation away from a successful strategy that we see in nonprofits. First one very rarely needs any explanation. It's visionaries, right? You look at just about any model, they have a visionary in it because you look at any organization and it's a visionary who started it. It's the person who's willing to work 80 hours for themselves, instead of working 40 hours for someone else. It's that person who has the audacity to believe that they can create something from nothing. Almost always visionary or a strong visionary style in the mix, right? Maybe not the primary one, but it's a strong visionary style. And when it comes to the visionary in these early organizations like we're talking about, their role, regardless of style, is to bring the vision to the organization. Where are we going? Why is it so important that we get there? As a nonprofit, how are we changing the world, right? Cast that compelling vision that motivates and aligns everyone to move. Now, any visionary, when you look in the kind of rear view mirror, there's just this wake of great ideas that were not even half completed, right? It's just this whole trail of unfinished projects. And so intuitively, especially in the business world, visionaries will go out and find themselves an operator. Now, here's the great news. If you're a visionary in a nonprofit and you've resisted this for a while, once you taste what having a high quality operator is actually like, you'll find it's a match made in heaven, right? There's a symbiotic nature to these two. Visionaries are starters, operators are finishers. Visionaries need virtually no attention to detail. Operators need a little bit more, but not a lot more, right? Especially compared to some of the other styles. And so there are people out there, and you may not believe this if you've not had them working on your team, but there are people out there who just love to get stuff done, right? The tenacity that it takes to finish a job. Some people have that baked in and they love it, right? For an operator, a great day is when they were left alone to get stuff done. They don't need to decide what it is. They don't need to have a great vision. They don't need to take it in some direction. They just want to be left alone to get stuff done. That's a Christian version of that saying, by the way. And so we have our visionary, we have our operator, and again, it's this almost magical combination. It together, those two styles is what allows us to move to the second stage. We call it fun. And I can tell you this, that I worked with lots of organizations, both in fun and in later stages, and the degree to which fun is fun, the fun stage is fun, is the degree to which they have high quality operators and they built a system for them to succeed. It's that simple. And so you get our visionary, you get our operator, and together a whole lot happens. Now, it's a whole lot in about 1,000 different directions. It's not pretty, it's not nice, it's not cute. It's borderline chaos at any given moment, right? Our visionary is chasing squirrels left and right. Our operator is saying, "Tell me what to do," and then don't watch, right? It's not even controlled chaos. It's just chaos, but it's productive chaos. And so what happens is you reach a size as a group or as an organization where you can't just make everything up every time you do it, right? You can't just figure it out every time you run into a challenge. You've got to start getting everybody pointed in the same direction. And so what has to happen is you have to start embracing, and I'll use the word honor again, you have to honor this third style, which for many at this point is really, really difficult to do because you've succeeded by not having it. And the third style is processors. Right? Folks who think in terms of system and process, folks who move 7 times slower than operators because they're working at 7 times the precision as operators, folks who default to no, right? Instead of defaulting to yes, folks who default to thinking about how to do the thing right as opposed to how to do the right thing. And so they're highly detail oriented. They're highly literal. They're very, very narrow focused. And it's processors who, when you combine them with the visionaries and operators that have gotten you this far, actually create scalability for an organization. When you take the vision of the visionary, the momentum of an operator, and the sustainability of a processor, that's what creates predictable success. That's what creates scalability. However, you put a visionary, an operator, and a processor in a room together, and what's going to happen? It's not pretty, right? And it's actually highly predictable how it devolves into just awfulness. But what you have to do to get the best out of those three styles, because you can't scale without them. So if we've got to get them working together, we have to find a way to getting them to work together. And the way that we do that is by developing the fourth style, which we call the synergist. And the synergist is the relational glue that holds VOP teams together. Now, in the nonprofit world, we tend to have an abundance of synergists because they are the people, right? They're the ones who want to see others succeed. They love the person side of the mission. And so what happens in the business world is we typically have to develop the synergist side to maintain predictable success. In the nonprofit sphere, we tend to have an overabundance of synergists, and we especially have an overabundance of synergists too soon. And the direct result of that, when you look at opposite ends of the spectrum, synergists are the most people-oriented of all four styles. Operators are the most task-oriented of all four styles. And so when you have too much synergist, it has to correct somewhere. And what happens is that synergist style, the kumbaya, the consensus-driven, the everyone's, just doing it so that everyone feels good, that is what drives out operators. And it can be the very slow, if not imminent death of many a nonprofit.